Welcome back, Skyliners, to Super-Duperville, Episode 6, STEWTOPIMANIA. Yes, awesome name. I am Mike of Dragon Rider Gaming. Thank you very much for joining me. Today we are going to try and accomplish 4 goals again. The first one is, it's not a goal, it's more of a discussion. We need to talk about industries. And I made some mistakes in the last episode, and I'm going to correct them here and show you what I've learned and hopefully educate you as well, if you don't know about these things, to maybe help you with your cities. Number 2, we're going to put down some municipals, which includes police, fire, health, elementary, high school, university, trash. What else am I missing? Parking, parks, the 2 P's. Number 3, we're going to try and push our new industry, which is going to be a farming industry. We're going to try and get that to level 3 if possible. And we'll show you how we're going to do that. And number 4, we are going to expand / fill our first pie piece of Stewtopia. So each piece of the pie, I envision it as the 2 main roads, the main legs, the 4-lane one-way roads that I always have trouble saying. And each one of those makes up a piece of the pie, and there's 8 pieces of pie. Yeah, and anybody want a piece of pie? Get a piece of pie. Here's your piece of pie. Okay, so let's get into it. So here's our city as we last left it off. We have our starting block area, of course. Let's get the game into gear. I'm going to kick down the speed to 50% so that our camera moves a little bit more fluidly. And we're going to fly up here to do an overhead shot of our first section, Stewtopia. So first things first, I need to remove these sections that I had in place for the industry, the old industry. And if you remember, in our districts, we had labeled this as a district. We called it Belmont Heights. That's not a bad name, but I'm going to reduce it just for the purpose here. I'm just going to call it Bob. Just for now. There's a purpose and craziness behind this, and I hope it works. We'll see. So we're going to go back into districts, and this is the one that I painted the district with when I should have actually painted it with an industry area district. So if we go over here and we just paint this area, see, it becomes this super bright aqua color. Pretty crazy. But all I'm going to do is just go along the road here again, just like we did the last time. It's harder to see the road as you're painting this, but it'll go in there. Not as pretty and as straight as my last one. A little bit more, but it still works. So this is called the Primrose Complex. Interesting. Okay. And we need to remove these buildings. I'm just going to go ahead and get them out of there. And what we're going to do is go back into... We're actually going to go into garbage and industry. So the way industries works is you need to go into one of these tabs along here that has the different industries. We're going to use farming industry, but there's forest, farming, ore, oil. You have warehouses that you can put down to help store product, and then you have unique factories, and finally the fishing industry that comes with the Sunset Harbor expansion. So we are going to be putting down some farming, and on this tab, the first thing and the only option you have on this entire tab, if I even open this up, the only thing that's available is the farm main building. You have to put that down first. So we're going to put that down first, and it's going to open up and expand our options of the other buildings that we can put down. But as a quick overview of the general industry and how it works, if we click on farming here, you start with extractor buildings, and in this case with farming, it's going to be a field of product. It can either be grain, or it can be fruit, or it can be animal pastures. So you know, and that's your extractor building. It's what extracts the raw material, and then that raw material gets sent to a processing building, in which it makes various products. In our case, it's going to be flour mills, or it'll produce animal products. Okay, so one of these two. These become your refined processed product. So you have your raw materials, your processed product, then that gets assembled into a finished good. I'm sorry, I'm speaking in production terms. I work in the production world in automotive, so it's familiar to me how this flows. This is a nice little flow chart, as we would call it. So these two get combined into a final product. It's created by a unique factory, and then it is either held onto, stored for when there is demand for it. It is sent to your commercial buildings in your city so that it can be distributed. I gotta pause this because I see people are out of power. Or you could export it out of your city, and the whole point is profits, lots and lots of money. So let me get this building down so we can get these guys some power here. I'm thinking, yeah, on top or bottom, I don't know, it doesn't matter which, I guess. Farm, building. We do want it to come across here, so let's put it up top here. Yeah, why not? And immediately, congratulations. Let's move this down and out of the way off to the side here. Primrose Estate, which we will have to come up with a better name, that is horrible, has reached level 1. The following buildings have been unlocked. So now we have a small grain silo. We can put down our small animal pastures, our small crop fields, or small fruit fields, which we are not going to use. We will use crop fields and animal pastures to create our product. So I'm going to leave this on. There's an option to cross it out, but I'm going to leave it on. Whoops, and then I got to go back in here. Whoops. Okay, so I guess that pops up every time. I wish I could minimize that, but whatever. So we are going to put down a few crop fields, and then we're going to put down some pastures later on. But to start us off, I'm going to put down a crop field. I think I'll put it right here. What's going to happen is when you lay down the crop field, it's going to create just a random crop field. It has a pick of 4. So if we go in here, we click on this field here, small crop field. Here's your choice. It has a drop-down menu. So we can grow corn, cotton, potatoes, wheat, or have it be a greenhouse. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it to corn. I'm going to do 3 corn fields and then 3 wheat fields. Honestly, it doesn't matter what you put down. It all produces grain. But it's a good thing to, maybe organize it a little bit. I could space these out, put them all along the edge here at different points. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to put these pretty close together. And we'll put 3 of them kind of tight and close together like that. Then we'll leave a gap so that maybe we can put a walk-through. It's really not necessary, but why not? And I'll put 3 more. So 1, scoot this over a little bit, give it a little bit of space. And that looks like a good spot for the 3rd one. And then that should give us some space over here to maybe do 3 to 6 more on this side, right? Have a whole side of just grain. So zooming in here, we're going to switch this one to wheat, and this one to wheat, and this one to wheat, or wheat. So I will come back and clean these up a little bit. For right now, I just want to get these going. And the other thing I want to put in, and I'm only going to put 1 down, I think, just to start, is we scroll down here, we go all the way down here to silos. And I'm going to put a small grain silo here so that as we are producing product out of these facilities, it goes into this small grain silo. And it does not get immediately shipped out of the city. I would rather keep it here and build up our storage of said product, and then utilize that for when we get our industry going further down the line. Like these fields, this has multiple options in which you can utilize. You can place it on balanced, and I'm talking the small grains silo here. It also applies to warehouses. It also applies to other buildings. I think in this case for farming, barns, if I remember right. I could be misspeaking there. I don't know. Whoops. So small grain silo, you can set it to balanced, which means that it'll aim to have it half full and half empty. What that means is it's starting out completely empty right now, and our fields are not keeping it half full. So we will actually import product to fill the silo. So that's going to cost us money because we're going to import the product from outside the city. If you set it to fill, it will just, no matter if it's coming from your fields or outside the city, it'll go until it's completely full. And then if it's set to empty, you will sell your resources and keep the silo empty. So I believe, and I could be wrong with this, I haven't fully understood this entire process yet, but if you set it to empty and you have a facility that can utilize the product, I believe it gets shipped over to your facility for storage there. I could be wrong with that. So I'm not sure about that. I will look into that and let you know, I guess, next time. So the other thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn off these other 5 just for a couple lengths of time here, is let this go through a couple cycles. Because if I leave them all on and they all stay at the same speed, you're going to see 6 trucks appear out of here at one single time, because they're all in kind of the same timer. I know this because I was playing around with this before and my game crashed on me, so I lost that recording. I recorded it again and my recording was corrupted, so here I am for the 3rd time recording the same video. Lovely time. So the other thing that we need to look at here, and the first thing that's going to happen here, if I unpause the game, immediately you see that we get a warning here. I'm going to repause it, and it says not enough natural resources. So what needs to happen if I hover over this? Extractor is missing natural resources. This building won't produce raw materials required for processing buildings. Place extractor building on natural resource needed for the industry area type. So farming needs fertile land, forest needs trees, ore needs ore deposits in the ground, and oil needs oil in the ground. Well, way back in episode 0, we looked at the overview of this map and could tell where the natural resources were. So if I turn this on, natural resources, we take a look around here, we can see we got fertile land a little bit off to our left, a little bit to the north. There's a bunch of fertile land down here. The green trees are all the forest industry. The black is the oil, and the blue is the ore. So if we zoom back in on our area that we're working in here, never mind the power outage right now, we have no fertile land in this area. Maybe a little bit on the edge here, but that's not going to matter. Well, that means that none of these buildings will function, but as you can tell from the tone of my voice, I'm not worried about that, because if we go down here to ground resources, we can actually implant the ground and make it fertile soil. I don't view this as a cheat per se, and I will explain myself by just saying, I understand living in Michigan, we have a lot of rural areas. Out in the bumpkin country land that I grew up in, there's a lot of farms, and the farms would simply utilize the ground that they had. I don't think they were out doing surveys and that kind of thing on the land that they bought. They just said, we're going to make do with the land that we have, and instead of growing not cops, they don't grow cops, they grow crops, and instead of growing crops every single year in the same piece of land, one year you would drive by a field and there wouldn't be anything there. It would just be growing weeds. And I asked my mom and dad, I was just like, hey, what's going on with that? And they're just like, well, they rotate the field and in order to reinvigorate the ground and replenish the nutrients in the ground that their cultivation process rips up from the ground. They have to every so often revitalize the earth. So they refertilize the land in a sense. So it becomes fertile ground again in order to grow product on, whatever they're doing. A lot of the areas around here did just what's called field corn, which they just feed to animals. They don't do it for human consumption, but they create the field corn for farm animals and such. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this. That's my justification. There you go. All right, let's move on. So I'm going to unpause the game now. This symbol will go away as soon as it has time to think. Oh, I didn't show you. If I go back to the thing, look at that. We got wonderfully fertile ground here. It's amazing what happens with that, right? I want to check my power grid. Is it reaching? Look at that. Just barely. That's awesome. Okay, so everybody has power again. They're happy. I'm going to speed up the game, and I'm going to let this go a couple rounds, and then I'm going to kind of skip around here and pick a different one to turn on at different points here. Just real quick, we'll zip through this. I just don't want all the trucks coming out at the same time. That would look really, really silly and very Let's call it artificial. Wouldn't you agree? Thank you for agreeing with me. See, I know. I knew you'd agree with me. Alright, we'll turn that one on, and then if that one's just one click behind, that's fine. So we have 6 functioning fields now. Yay! And we have our farming main building. Okay, that requires 50 workers. You see all different types of educated, uneducated, educated, well-educated, high-educated. Same thing with the fields here. These actually require a variety of people as well. That's kind of cool. And the silo itself does not require people because it's just a storage building. So, okay, so we're back. Yes, my game crashed on me again. And I believe, I think I got to look into this a little bit deeper because recently I downloaded the mod, what is it called here? Well, it's called Auto Repair in here, but I think it's called something else online, in which it extracts this information for you to help analyze your different mods that you have. And I had several mods that overlapped with each other and that were incompatible with each other. Several updated mods that I was using older versions of, or outmoded mods that are no longer being supported. So I think as a result of all that, my previous game had some saved mods and I have different ones in there now. It shouldn't break the game like that, but it is nevertheless. So this is my 4th recording of this game. I am just irritated to no end. Try to turn snapping off. I thought it was, oh no, it's control end. So I'm really irritated with that. It's just so frustrating. I'm not going to put that one in over there just yet. And in fact, I may have to remove this one and change it. Let's turn the game back on. So what we're going to do here, well, actually, first and foremost, I'm going to get some more grids laid in here. We want to expand out this area, and I'm going to put them every other unit just to expand the electrical grid. That's the only goal I'm trying to shoot for here in doing this. And obviously these will be complete, right? That whole section's complete, and we'll do one more row after these move in. We'll see some people start to move in here. And so I caught back up to where I was. You're going to see me saving every 2-3 minutes. I don't even know. I'm actually going to save it again. I'm not even going to mess around. I am so irritated with losing my progress constantly. And it's something tied to my escape key. I don't know what it is. It's very, very irritating. So we're going to use the Move It mod, and we're going to go in here and click on this first section, and I'm going to rotate it, if I can remember how to rotate it. There we go. I did it right that time. And I'm going to align it with the road, and then I'm going to bump it up and put it kind of in the center. If you look at a little bit of gap on each side here, I think that's pretty darn good. If I go that way, it's too far. So we'll just put it in the center. These ones we're going to move up as well. All 3 of them. And this one I'm actually going to bump over, and I'm going to try and align it. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. It's right alongside that road pretty evenly. And then this center one, I'm just going to hold down Alt, which will just let it move just a little bit. And we'll just place that one kind of between, and I think just down one, just to help take away from this edge. Since I aligned this edge to this side, it's pretty darn angled at the top here. But you won't see it once we get things rolling here. Same thing with these. We're going to bump them up to center. And I wonder if I had to do anything special with these. I don't think so. That one has pretty good gap there. We actually can move this one over so that it matches kind of that, and it's just right there. And then we can move this one over a couple spaces, and just like that, they look pretty darn centered. They look pretty darn uniform. I really like the look of that. It centers them up in the space, and we don't have a lot of dead space. So I'm going to go back into landscaping. That's where I was at for that first road there, or that first path. Inside of landscaping, under the second tab of paths, I just chose the gravel path. I've turned snapping off temporarily so I can lay these in, and I'm going to lay another one right here next to it, simulating that one as close as we can get. And that's nice because this one butts right up to that. We'll put the next one right next to it and continue on as we need to expand. Honestly, I believe this one right here. Now, there's 3 ways you can get into your industry display that pops up on the screen. The first way is you can click right on the field name. However, we have Belmont Heights and Cooper Fields. Oh, I changed the name to Cooper Fields, by the way, just because I hated that other name, whatever it was. If you have a better name, please throw it up there. I'm more than happy to name it after somebody that even makes the comment. What the hell? Belmont Heights is over top. So when I click on this, it's going to click on Belmont Heights. I can't get to the Cooper Fields one. So since I have a district over top of a district. However, you can click on any of your extractor buildings, and right here in the bottom corner you have this industry area info, and that'll bring up your overview of the area. The other way you can do is go to your home base, your main building, and do the same thing. Okay, so here we go. We are producing our own product. 100%. We are importing nothing. That is fantastic. Now, our silo is already almost full. So I'm going to drop down a couple more silos here, and hopefully I do not trigger... Where's that one? I want to go 4 units at least. I'm just going to put another one in, and hopefully that does not trigger too much stuff coming in from out of town. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to start transferring everything out of this one and get it down to 50%. And move it into this one. That's exactly what they're doing right now. Trucks running back and forth. So that's great. What I was going to show you, if I got off kilter there. So here is our goals. We're at level 1. We're shooting for level 3, right, in the intro. We have to get to 500 units for level 2 and 150 workers. We're almost there on workers, and we're well on our way, almost halfway exactly, on the number of units we need to produce. It does not mean import. When they bring product into your area, that does not count towards your production. You need to actually produce the crops yourself. So let's take a look. Whoa, that's a big building. Wow, that's a huge damn building. Boy, that throws off the whole rigmarole here, don't it? He's level 1. You know what we're gonna do? Yeah, we're doing that. We're getting rid of him. I love the height of the building, but it's too big for the area right now. But I'm going to go back into zoning. We're going to continue to zone here. Whoops, let's get this bottom guy. Don't want to forget about him. We'll go out a couple more on these. A couple more on these. And we'll continue on up here. That's going to be all set. That's going to be all set. And I believe these guys are all set. My only purpose is to expand the electrical grid so we can get our municipals along this road here. So that's the whole goal of moving this stuff outward and skipping every other one and just trying to expand as quickly as we can without doing too much at once, right? I'm going to try to stick to that theory. We got great demand levels here. I love seeing those demand levels. But we want to make sure... Oh, I don't know if it auto-saved, but I'm going to save it myself. I'm trying to remind myself to do this. Even the auto-save didn't save me this past time because it was only like 5-10 minutes in. Maybe I just dropped the period, the frequency of my autosave. Maybe that'll help me. So I'm gonna go back, take a look at the old city here. How we doing? Doing okay. Traffic. How we doing on traffic? 82%. Spectacular. Right back to this. Let's take a look at. Do we want to expand out on this side, or do we want to expand out on this side? I want to wait till level 2. Before I expand further. My thought process for that is we're going to make it there pretty quickly. We're only losing $200 a week right now. That's pretty good. I think we'll get enough workers. Each one of these requires 20 workers, so that's 120 right there. The main farm building requires 50, so that gets us to 170 workers. Okay, again, the silos don't require anything. Look at these guys. They're filling right up. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to drop in another silo. 4 units over. And I have a crazy reason that I'm doing these every 4 units. At level 2, we unlock a workman's barracks. So we'll be able to put a barracks in here. And they should fit just in between these at 4 units, I do believe. I do declare that I believe it. Yeah. I'm going to put in an extra one of those. I'm only going to put this set in this time because I think the rest of those are in pretty good shape, and then we'll expand out again and we should be there. In fact, we can pop up here real quick and drop in some municipals at the top end of our group here. So I think the first thing I'm going to drop in at this point, and I'm going to back out, do a nice overhead shot. Let's take a look at our police coverage, and I would like to drop in a police headquarters. So if I hover it on that area, look at that coverage. That is awesome sauce. That's even better. That covers more than half the city, and then if I mirror it on the other side, I got to put in 2 of these for the whole city, and it should be enough for everything. I'm dropping it there. That is spectacular. Fire coverage should really be the same thing. Maybe I can go to the... I don't want to go to the next section. Let's go to the business sector here. Yeah, let's do it here. Why is that snapping so horrific? Oh, because I'm on the wrong one. Yeah, I want the big guy. Yeah, big guy, big guy. I was like, he doesn't have any coverage. Yeah, that covers half the city too. That is awesome. Okay, so let's get him in here and try and get him centered too. Yeah, that's good. So there's fire, there's police. These guys are going to be upgrading like mad. He doesn't have power. Oh yeah, so he doesn't have power. He'll have power soon enough. It's almost there to him. It's almost there. In fact, why don't we just drop a couple more in just to get him some power. I have the power. Nice. So that should help him. We should now have power for that guy, and we'll drop a couple more of these in here. That completes that. So that's pretty much how I'm going to do this side, and then we'll expand on this side as well, doing the same thing just to get the grid out for this episode, just to get everything expanded out. Cool. He's covered now. Going back into fire, let's just double check. Look at everybody blue. He's got this handled. Boom! Level 2. Cooper Fields has reached level 2. So now we start to get bonuses at level 2. Area bonus, efficiency is increased by 4%. We produce 10% less pollution. Now, none of the buildings I have up right now are creating pollution, a little bit of noise pollution, but not any actual ground pollution because it's farming. But we've unlocked some new buildings. So our flour mill, we have our flour mill. We're going to put that in. We have our first unique building, which is a bakery. So the bakery will utilize animal products and flour to make yummy, delicious goods that we will probably figure out where to put that down. I think I can put that down outside of the area. We'll double check that. Here's our workers' barracks that we wanted to get. We will have a cattle shed in which I will utilize when we put our cattle down. And then we have small barns. And I believe small barn is just another form of a warehouse. So since I'm on this kick, let me quickly do... Yeah, the medical clinic isn't going to have really good coverage. But I'm thinking, do I want... No, I want the high school there, I think. So I think I'm just going to put the medical clinic up here. I'm going to eventually replace this with a hospital. And I'm thinking the hospital is going to go on like one of these sides. I'll have like a university and you know what? Since I'm going to put the university over here. No, because I want to space them out. And I want like the university on one side, the hospital on the other side. And that's pretty much what's going to go in that ring. And I'll probably fill it with a couple different things. But that all has to wait just a little bit. So in the meantime, how's my health coverage? I got plenty of health coverage. I'm doing good. 68%, that's not great, but death care. And so, see, I'm tempted to put down a health clinic and a crematorium right next to each other. Before I do that, let me go into here. Elementary school, we have enough, but high school we're low on. And I think I'm going to drop a high school right here. So we're going to have 3 nice big buildings here in a row. That's cool. It puts it right next to these guys. And believe me, I realize that it's kind of a pain in the butt. If somebody's living here in this building and they want to go to this high school, they have to leave here, drive out, or walk out and come all the way around. So what I'm going to plan to do and why I'm centering these is I want to put in some walking paths either right next to these buildings or on the tips of these roads or something like that. You know, it'll happen. So they will have walking paths that they can walk down here, come here, and just shoot out to the high school if they can't already. I wonder if they can walk down here. That would be awesome if they could. I'm going to keep my eye on that and see, because that would be pretty cool if they could do that. These ones aren't really connected up, so I definitely have to connect up walking paths to these guys. But that being said, grade school, I do want to put a grade school over here. And even though we have more than enough elementary coverage, I have to start putting down some of these buildings in this area so that this place becomes self-sufficient. You know what I mean? For when, I don't know, maybe a meteor strike hits this area, or a huge earthquake, or just utter mass genocide. I don't know. So yeah. So I wanted to put this down here because it's a low-rise building. And right about here is when things start rising up. That's why I didn't mind putting the firehouse there. I believe it's a firehouse, yes. And then, you know, this is decent size. This is even taller. So it's kind of going with the theme of the city here and putting the taller buildings towards the middle. So we have that. We do not have healthcare over here yet. We could just as easily put a clinic down here and a death care facility down here. Like I say, the coverage of that's not awesome, but that's pretty darn good for the area. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a healthcare place here. And then we're going to put a crematorium right next door. Leave a little space between. Maybe we can get some things over there for those guys. Until I can expand out, we will just do a quick underground. Let's switch back to that and make sure we line this up. We want to go here between our grids so that we don't interrupt anything. And that reaches perfect. So these guys now have power as well. Got an underground power line. And people have coverage on this side. The last thing that we need to do, before I do that, let's get over here and get some more stuff in so we move towards level 3. See how we're doing. We need 1,500 units, and we're at 700, so we need another 800 units for that. And we need 350 workers. So we got quite a ways to go with that. So the way to get more workers, lay down more stuff. So let's go back into our industries area. Let's expand this up and take a look at a couple buildings here. Flour mill. That's the one that we want to put down. However, if you take a look on the right side there, it has 20 units of ground pollution. So it has a 20 unit wide radius of ground pollution and 50 unit radius of noise pollution. Don't really care about the noise pollution because we're going to keep it away from the residents and stuff, and whatever noise it produces within its own zone, I don't really care. So if we lay that down here, look at that. That's pretty heavy on the noise, and I don't know why the ground pollution's as far out as the noise. But essentially, that's as far as we want to put it to the fields. So we don't want, you know, poison. We don't want to be poisoned in the fields. That is about as close as we want to put it. So we ideally want to put something on the inside of this. Let's take a look at, no, not our unique factories, but our warehouses. Okay, so we have a warehouse yard that we could put down. That would go good there. But I'm not really keen on having a yard in which we're storing flour and such outside. I think we want to go with a small warehouse, which would be a covered building. It's a little bit wider. And we can put that right on the corner. What you're seeing there is the actual noise radius. And you see it does not reach into the residential and the north side. And we don't care if it overlaps into the fields. It's just noise. Noise isn't going to hurt the plants. So we're going to put that warehouse there. It's complaining no resources selected. So with these buildings, stored resource storage mode. So we have a storage mode that works just the same as the silos and any other warehouse. And then we can specify a stored product. Zoned industry farming products. I wonder, can I? No, that'll store the finished product, right? I think that's what it stores, is the finished product. I want it to store flour. I'm gonna hold off on that just 1 second until I put down the actual flour mill, because that's going to produce flour, so it will store flour as well. Look at that, that's perfect. It butts right up to that. It does not overlap into the fields and poison our ground in the fields. That is a perfect spot for that building. I like it, I like it. So they are instantly complaining not enough raw materials. Well, a truck just dropped it off. There you go, now you got raw materials. So flour mills grind crops into flour and package it for transportation. I gotta take a drink. We're having grape today, by the way. I was getting a little cotton mouth there. Production rate is 4,160 units per week. And it will store 16 tons of flour. So that's spectacular. So it will store 13 tons of crops, convert it to flour, and it'll store the flour as well. So I think I'm going to set this building to store farming products. Yes, I think so. Zoned industry of the farming specialization produces farming products. Yes. So we have to produce products. And I don't know that this building produces flour, but I don't think it'll store flour there. I don't know. Before we continue to expand on our fields on this side, we're actually going to switch over here, and I want to leave a little bit of space. Do I want to put the cattle shed down? Cattle sheds are well-ventilated buildings used to raise cattle and provide them shelter against harsh weather. This processing building requires crops to produce farming special good animal products. Processing buildings need to be placed inside an industry area. So this has ground pollution as well, which is interesting, and noise pollution. So when we go to put this one down, that one has a pretty good radius of pollution as well. I'm hesitant only because I know I want a milking parlor. So if I put down a cattle shed, raise cattle and provide them shelter against harsh weather. Does that mean all the cattle get moved into this building when there's harsh weather? So I do not want these near cattle fields because they create ground pollution, and I don't want to poison the ground that the cattle are on. Okay. And as far as my milking parlor, it produces 25 ground pollution and 50 noise pollution. That doesn't unlock until level 3. My thought process here, and why I'm debating what I'm doing here, as I should explain myself a little bit more clearly, I want to put these down, and I would like to put animal fields over here. But I'm starting to debate, should I just put animal fields over here and have a whole side that's all field production, and then a whole side that's actual production. But yeah, I'm thinking that makes more sense. So I think I'm going to put down this building here. It's a production facility. It produces animal products, transfers crops into animal products. So that'll produce animal products. This is producing flour. They're filling this up so we're importing a bunch of stuff. That's not really good that we're importing a bunch of stuff, but let's take a look here. We got flour. We're going to start to produce animal products from this building. We're making money. You know, hey, geez, look at that. That jumped up. So I think the idea then, I'm going to lay down some animal fields, and I may change my mind on where I put those cattle sheds. Or they're actually not cattle sheds, are they? They are farm workers barracks. So I guess it's just workers for any type, right? Any type of farming. Workers barracks increase the work efficiency of the workers in the industry area. Each building increases the work efficiency by 5% up to the maximum 100%. Auxiliary building need to be placed inside an industry. Okay, so this is considered an auxiliary building. That's what they're saying. They should have said buildings, but okay. We'll let that slide. So let's get an animal pasture here, and let's see what we want to do. We'll definitely want to put it on this side. Why doesn't it go there? Maybe we'll put these facing out on the top so we create a little bit more traffic on the top. So that goes to that square. So we can put this one here and it would be spaced. And we can put that one here and it would be spaced. That's 3. Can I get a 4th one in? We have to go to there. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. We can get 4 animal fields in here. We are doing it. We are laying these puppies down. They will be spaced out by 1 each. A little bit less on the end there, but that's fine. I'm going to pause it real quick. I'm going to save it real quick. We haven't saved. I know it's auto-saved a couple times here, but whatever. And then we want to change this so we have pigs in that one. We got pigs in that one. We're going to switch that to cows. We got pigs in that one. We're going to switch that to sheep. We got pigs in that one. We're going to change that to Highland cows. So we got a couple different types of cows. We're going to have trucks come and bring them some basic product. So I don't know what the difference is between the Highland cows and the regular cows. Let's see here. It should pop in any second. So the regular cows are multicolored. The Highland cows, I guess, are more like Angus. Angus, sorry about all the noise there. They're really loud, aren't they? Oh my goodness. We're going to do the same thing then, because I was thinking, was I going to take and put a workers barracks on the back side of this, but it won't fit. Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that, because I think I'm just going to go in here, move it mod, grab that, move it a couple spaces in. I'm actually going to rotate this one. Nope, I moved it the wrong way. I wanted to rotate. That's control. Rotate that one. That's too much. Yeah, we'll have to just... Actually, we'll just leave it like that. That's fine. Doesn't need to be that crazy. We'll move all these over into the area a little bit. Yeah, that kind of splits the difference. And we could throw some trees and bushes and stuff around here and in between and beautify the area, if you will. I could throw walkways. Ooh, why don't we do that? Why don't we put walkways between these? That would make more sense, because you would not want to have to walk all the way down here to get across, right? So let's take a look here. Let's put in a path. In fact, so we might tighten this up just a little bit. Let me go back to the Move It mod. So I think I want to bump this over. Select that one. I just want to go over a few. 2 or 3 there. Excellent. And then we'll go into landscape. We'll lay down a road. Kind of split the difference in a sense here, so that we have you know, some different gapping going on. That one's pretty darn good, actually. I'm worried about this last one. I guess I can bump this towards the road just a little bit more, and then maybe rotate it like that. Scoot it over a little bit more so it's a little tighter to the road. It does look kind of funky there, but let me try and put a road down here in between. Yeah, it doesn't like that. We're going to anarchy it in. Turn that on real quick. Put the road down. It does make it a little bit funky there, doesn't it? A little funky cold Medina. Yeah, we'll rotate that back, in fact. Sorry about the noise. Let me get in here and just rotate this back just a hair so it looks a little bit better. I think I'd rather they line up with the road a little bit better than anything. Okay. Yeah, we're okay. Let's get back out. It's so loud. It is massively loud in my ear, so it has to be loud for you guys too, I would imagine. All right, I like it. I like that. In fact, you got 4 different types of animals. It's all cool. You can drive in the city. Mom, Dad, look at the piggies and the cows and the sheepies and the other cows that maybe the kids don't know the difference. I don't know. And then on this side, we can just worry about producing. So that is going to be an insane amount, because I think these take, please don't crash on me, these take 25 workers. So right there's 100 workers, another 120, so you got 220. This one takes 50 workers, so that's 270. This one takes how many workers? Oh, that's just warehouse. This one takes 45. So what I say I was at 270, so 315, and another 55 workers. Awesome. So that puts us up to 370 workers, and we only need for the next level 350. So that's perfect. That's going to get us right to where we need to be for level 3. We've got enough crops. We just need to wait for the workers to show up, and this area will be level 3. Look at that, expanding out, cranking, awesome sauce. I'm going to move to this side, and I'm going to start expanding out here. In fact, I'm going to start at the second spot. Oh, I forgot something. Yeah, I got to put that in. Sorry if I sounded excited there. What I want to put down here, in fact, before I even put that down, I want to consider where I want to put these. I have little parking structures. And what the hell are those parking structures under? They're under parks and plazas. There we go. It makes sense going underneath the park. If I scroll all the way down here, you see I have these assets, which are 3-level garages. And these will fit in here, but they're kind of modular. You have to build them up, and they take up quite a bit of space. And I'm not ready for that just yet. We'll have other sections that probably use that, utilize that kind of stuff. I have parking lots of various different parking lots that I've downloaded. Excuse me, and let me get a drink. Much better. And then I have this parking garage, and it doesn't look like it in the picture, but if we put this down, this sucker holds 64 cars. And I want to go into the commercial zone here and put one like here in the center. Let's get in and take a look at this puppy, because this is a pretty cool building. Look at all those parking spots. That's a lot of parking. You can see the people on the streets are just lining up, so they will look at everybody floating in. And everybody's floating their cars in. It has a couple flaws, like if you look where this pole is, when somebody parks here, half their car is going to be in the pole. Little flaws like that, but overall, I really like this parking garage. Holds a lot of cars. It's low profile for these guys. And my purpose of saying that was I want to make sure I got another one in over here before we even expanded out, so that things are taken care of. Yeah. Gonna drop some more residential in here. We'll drop the commercial buildings so that this guy has power, no problem. Just like that. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And yeah, we'll go here. Why not? And skip out one. And more office space, right? Nice. Go along the inside. And I'm going to leave these two open. I do not have a park asset that is a 1x2, but I'm going to find one, because there is a park asset for everything. And as long as it's not ridiculous that it, you know, it has 500 visitors or some crap like that. If it has like 25 to 50 visitors, that would be perfect for this area. And I'm envisioning something like a barbecue pit, or just a tree that has some seating next to it, or something like that. Just a nice park asset that would complement the area, that isn't overpowered, and that will work for that stuff. That's beautiful. Okay, so we got that stuff going in. That super humongous building didn't pop up again. That's good. These are good levels. And I see that right now our office buildings are kind of small, and a lot of that is because of the size of the thing we put it on. Ideally, we'd like these taller, but I'm going to give it some time and wait. I also believe that all of them are level 1 still. Yeah, they're all level 1. I have to get more services in the area, and I know the health service didn't really reach up there. But if you look here on services, it says 31% combined scores of the factors shown above. Well, that's not really helping me. And I believe it's, you know, these are your services, right? And you see the ones that just don't have good coverage. Fire is decent coverage for them, police, because we placed everything kind of away from them. So once we continue to expand and get some more stuff like over on this side, these guys will get a little bit happier. They'll upgrade, and therefore the buildings will get taller. That's the hope. That's the goal. And I think our residential buildings here, yeah, they're already level 2. And they go up to 5, so they get bigger and bigger as they get up too as well. So yeah, a couple of these guys are already level 2 on the commercial buildings. So, oh no, that's residential. Sorry, here's the commercial buildings. Yeah, they're level 2 already. That's why they're a little bit bigger on this end. Okay, so going back, I wanted to check on traffic. I did want to check on traffic. How are we doing? Getting a little bit busier here. Looks like we got some backups going on. Traffic's down to 76%. The roundabout's working. It's flowing. People are pumping in and out of the city. I still cannot believe that a one-road town housing upwards of 17,000 people is working. Well, that blows my mind. It has never worked for me in the past like that. And now that I say something, all hell's going to break loose, I guarantee it. I mean, people are parking over here. Look at this. This is how much parking we need. This is how bad we need parking structures. Let me get a couple more of those parking buildings into the high density residential area. Ideally, I really want it there, dude. I think you're going to have to go away. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, pizza anarchy there right on top of them. Nope. let's do that. Sorry, forgot anarchy was on. And we will put one over here before we move anything else in. That'll make people happy. People can park much closer to the buildings now. And ideally, see how low that is in comparison to the other buildings? It's going to look a little bit out of place. There's a floating car. And what is that? Is that a bird? Oh, that is a bird. I was like, that's a weird moving car. Ideally, there is another one that I downloaded. Where is it? Here it is. This parking garage. But I believe it holds less. I mean, if you look at the picture there, it just has one set of parking on top. But it's a taller building. Look at the size of that building. That fits the area better. I'm going to pause it here because I'm going to delete this building. You put that sucker in. Look at that. That matches the height of the other buildings much better. But let's count the parking spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60 spots. Whereas this one has 64. Isn't that crazy? Much bigger building. Kind of fits the aesthetic of the area when you get into these areas. But not right now. We will look at this for other areas around. I'm sure we will find a spot for it that I don't care about it only having 60 instead of 64. For right now, my goal is to get as many people into parking spots as we can. Oh, unpause. Let's go. Let's take a look. Where are we at? 340. 10 people to go. And we got this, people. So, this is unbalanced. 1% full. So I'm a little confused on that one, how that works. This one has 18 to 19 workers. Okay, so it does need workers. Spectacular. So we have almost 400 workers that can work in the area. That's great. Oh, I didn't put down my cattle people. I keep calling them cattle people. I didn't put down these guys. Let's get these in here. Yeah, so that fits right there. And then I can just put some trees and paths around here. That looks great. I like that. And I imagine these are probably pretty darn full. They're pulling them out of here and sending crops out. Boom! Cooper Fields level 3. Area bonus now increased efficiency plus 24%. Minus 20% pollution. We can do a lemonade factory. Nice. We can do milking parlor. We're going to use that. We're going to use that. Medium crop fields and medium fruit fields. I don't think these medium fields will fit in our designated zones that we have here. But I will play with one and see. Lemonade factory. That's interesting. We did not lay down a bakery either, did we? So we should probably think about doing that. So we can produce some fine products for our fine area. Let me open this up. Let's take a look-see here. What do we got? We got our milking parlor. So that can go over here. Right next to it. Why not? We'll just keep stacking these guys next to each other. Oh god, that fits perfect. Look at that. Goes right up to the edge. Nice. Here comes people to fill it with some product. And there's cows. Ha! Whoops. Cows and a worker. Who's over here? Just farmer. Mr. Farmer. And Mr. Cow. Nice. That's awesome. Brr. Milk them puppies. Yeah. Nice. Cattle shed's working. It's making animal products. This place is making animal products. This place is making flour. It is not going to be able to keep up with these two probably, I assume. I don't know. And we wanted to see just how big one of those medium fields are. Medium crop field. It would fit in there. Look at that. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Large animal pasture I bet won't fit though. Probably on the end, you know, if we put it facing outward, but yeah. And then small barn. A barn building used for storing the farming industry raw material, crops. Storage buildings can be placed outside of industry areas. So essentially it's the same thing as the grain silo. And I could put down a farm building here for the aesthetic look of a farm building. Does it produce noise? Noise pollution 20. Yeah, see, that would go open to the... if I put it up there, I really kind of want to put it up there. I'm thinking in my mind, as I'm looking at this area, This whole area is zoned as farming, and even Belmont Heights has the agricultural specialization tag. Whoops, if I can get there. So if I lay in just normal industry in these areas, it would be farming type industries, not producing a heck of a lot of pollution, maybe noise pollution, but not necessarily pollution for, you know, that ground pollution is what I'm talking about. So I'm thinking that might be what gets filled in here quite a bit. But I like that. Whoa. Sorry, saw a squirrel. And we got a nasty little squirrel going on here. Look at this backup. Whoa. Hold on now. What are we down? Oh, 58 and dropping. Holy Toledo. Okay, we're going to have to address this very shortly. But before I do that, I want to finish our area up here. And I think what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll play around with the traffic and figure out what the heck I need to do to fix that. Because, didn't I jinx it? I totally jinxed it, didn't I? I totally jinxed it. Ugh, why'd I have to go and say something? It's doing awesome. Hey, doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doo. Oh, what a dummy. I totally did that to us with my willpower. So those are pretty much set. I'm going to consider those areas done. This just needs a little bit more. In fact, let's do that. Let's finish this up, and I will end this episode, and we will resume in the next one, and I'll talk about what the heck I needed to do to fix it. Or maybe I can do that during the outro. How's that? How would that go, huh? I think I'm going to leave that open maybe for like a little park, but we'll throw in another little place right here. Sweet. There is our first pie pretty much done. The only thing we have not laid down is university. We did not do that. We got some parking. We have not put in parks. So we got a lot of angry people. Look at all these guys. Nobody's happy. Yeah, these do not count as parks, these parking buildings, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'm going to have to throw down some dog parks, maybe a bouncy castle, Japanese garden up in the high-density residential area, make those guys happy. A little carousel park, maybe up in the office area. No, that would not go up there. Japanese garden would go good up in the office area, but I don't have the space up here unless I put one down here. How big is that? I think we did pretty darn good today. I think that's pretty solid. We went through a lot there. I didn't have a lot of opportunities to speed things up, but got the municipals down for the most part. We're just missing the university, like I said. So that's going to be it for this episode. As always, I thank you very much for watching. Please like and leave me some comments about what you liked. Please dislike and let me know what you didn't like, or offer some constructive criticism. I'm always open for positive feedback as well, so if you want to leave that, I'm always encourage that as well. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when I put out my next video. Until next time, this is Mike, Dragon Rider Gaming, and we will see you then. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.